Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey,
everybody.
How are you? What's going on, everybody? It's good to be with you. You know, it was interesting yesterday as we end the show reading the Trump truth about Rob Reiner. And I came out and I was like, look, I find it very off-color, off-putting. It's not what I would have said. It's disappointing. It is what it is. I had no idea that it was going to blow up the way it has blown up. People now clutching their pearls. Do you guys remember what Rob Reiner said about Rush Limbaugh?
No.
When he died? He was basically like, good riddance, douchebag. See you later. So, yes, I would hope that the president would say things perhaps differently. But you know what?
Doesn't mean I'm not going to vote
I'm not
for
him.
Yeah.
I'm not him. I can only respond to how I would feel. I don't find it outrageous. If you want to define outrageous, we need to go back to 2016 and just chronicle all of the shite against this guy. Like, I get where he's coming from in the moment. For my proclivities, for my selfish tunnel vision, I didn't like it. It is what it is.
I think it's because,
you know,
we've all heard all the stories about how nice he is and how normal he is from people we trust, like Sean Parnell. If Sean tells me something, I believe him. And he says how down to earth he is and how nice he is. And it's easy to lose sight that he's been attacked for 15 years, but I don't think it was outrageous. Like you said, I'm not in his shoes, but I don't know. It's not going to change my vote. CNN's basically beyond the pale. How could he? That kind of stuff is ridiculous.
I agree. I got something weird going on right here. Do you guys see this right here? What's that?
It's hair.
It's a curl. Sorry. It's just a weird curl. I'm thinking about you guys because Brock has been in some weird leg pain, and I have pain in my foot, right? And I'm willing to try anything and everything under the sun to try to get rid of it. I don't want to take a prescription. I don't want to be captive to Advil, save for when I have a headache and I need it to go away stat, right? The wellness company has something that's really interesting, and I want to talk to you about it because it's not something that numbs your skin. It doesn't freeze your skin and just numb it temporarily. It gets down to the cellular level. And I think this is very intriguing and totally worth considering. The wellness company, twc.health/Wendy, my name, Wendy, gets you 10% off, all right? It's called Thera Blue. It's the next generation pain-relieving peptide gel. We're hearing a lot from the wellness company about peptides. Their white or their Smile toothpaste doesn't use fluoride, use peptides. This uses peptides. And they work deeper than the skin surface. Powered by aqua molecular delivery technology, delivers peptides and botanicals directly into your muscle tissue for legitimate lasting relief. Its hero ingredient is a copper peptide that promotes collagen synthesis, reduces inflammation, and helps accelerate repair. It restores cellular energy to aid recovery. And while the methylene blue, you've heard that name before, protects your mitochondria and supports endurance. Natural extracts, including turmeric, white willow bark, ginger, soothe inflammation, while menthol, camphor, and eucalyptus oil deliver that instant cooling relief. It absorbs quickly, doesn't feel greasy, it's not going to stain your clothing. Think about this as a real option for you. twc.health/Wendy. Use my name, Wendy, 10% off literally everything in the store. Just going to say it. Okay? That's my secret. Go and check it out. Again, it's called Thera Blue. I think it's exciting. Hey, man, anything that we can do to take the edge off that isn't bad for us, sign me up. I'll try it, right? How's everybody? What's going on, Kimba? Hi, Goody. What's up, Tiedemann? Hi, Texas Kathy. Hi, Lori. Hi, let's see, what is that one? Cher, good to see you, Freebird. Hi, Rosebud. Nice to see you guys. What's going on? Hey, Atlantis Joe. He says, let's roll. All right. Hi, Dee Dee Bev. What's up, Brett Rusty? We got Mr. Anderson. Hi, Mr. Anderson. What's up, Canada? Hi, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
I love all this. What's up, Plaz 78? Tessa, what's going on, sweetheart? Hi, Amy. Amy Jean and Spar. Look at all of you. My heavens. Rolling on by. It's great to be with you. Is it me or is my hair getting curlier the older I get? Anybody? Okay. Just caught a glimpse of it. Yours is getting longer. What's up, Julie? Julie Groomer.
Somebody made an appointment without me.
Screaming Siren. Is that what it says? Seaman. Screaming Seaman.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America, and greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. WendyBellRadio.com is the easiest, fastest way to get connected. We live stream the whole show, so you get to see behind the scenes commercial breaks and all. We have a lot of fun. You know, we can't control the quality of the news. We can't control how many people out there today are going to let us down, are going to disappoint us, but we can have a good time together for 3 hours a day. And that is what this show is all about. I'm Wendy. I'm a mom. I love this country. I believe in all of the same things you do. And I share those values every day. And if you give me a try for a few minutes, I think you're going to stay a while. And maybe next time, bring a friend. I hope you do. You're always welcome. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Got a lot to talk about in the news today. The Somalian situation is not getting better, and now it's getting more people caught in its lair, if you will. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the broadcast. We're also going to talk about some big moves the president made yesterday in the Oval Office. But I want to begin with a personal story. And you know what? This is not complicated. The things I share with you from my own world, my household, my orbit of friends and acquaintances, there's nothing unusual about what I share here. It's just so basic, but we've strayed so far away from basic. And now everything seems so ridiculously, preposterously unbelievable. And you're like, come on, really? Seriously? Somebody's going to snap their fingers. We're going to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, thank you. I thought it was a terrible nightmare, right? So I have a friend. And my friend is in her mid-60s. And I've talked about her on this program before. And I think about her commonly because so many of the things that we do that we take for granted, somebody with her degree of essential tremor in her hands cannot do. When I say to you, her hands shake uncontrollably, that's what I mean. She cannot, and I think about it in the morning, just getting out of bed, getting a tube of toothpaste, and twisting it open, popping it open, and squeezing toothpaste onto your toothbrush. I don't know how she does that. I don't know how she brushes her teeth. I don't know how she puts on mascara. She hasn't. Can't wear makeup. Can you imagine trying to put lipstick on with hands that are shaking? I think about just basic stuff like in the morning. How do you make a pot of coffee? You can't scoop out the grounds. Your hands are all over the place, let alone holding a cup of anything to your mouth. She'd spill all over the place. And that's in the privacy of her home. Now, when you go out in public and you meet friends, what do? Do you hide it? Do you think you can? Do you sit on your hands? Do you get quiet? Do you just not go out anymore? What do you do? And I watched her for a while, and I could see how much it bothers her. I have no idea how she buttons pants. Absolutely no clue how she puts on socks. Or a bra? Are you kidding me? Little latches and prongs? What? And I don't have many connections. I don't know many people. I don't call in favors. It's not how I do things in my life. But I happen to know a doctor who has a concussion institute. And I reached out to his wife, who's the practice manager. And I explained to her, my friend. And I said, I don't know if you guys do this sort of thing, treating somebody with essential tremor instead of a traumatic brain injury. In fact, I don't even know where the tremor comes from. She's been through every doctor, every MRI, CT scans, this blood test, that pinprick, all over it, to the point where she finally just gave up and was like, this is the way my life is going to be. And so I can either get busy living or I can get busy being a recluse and falling into depression. And she didn't. She got busy living. But I know it bothers her. And so this Concussion Institute agreed to see my friend. No promises. It's not something they normally do. The doctor uses his hands in the soft palate of your mouth and can feel things, because he's been doing this for 20 years, right? He can feel things in that tender skin up there that are out of whack. Yesterday, my friend went to him for the first time. And I was, to be honest, on pins and needles waiting to hear from her. Did I expect after an hour or two she was going to be cured and waltz right out of there with a new lease on life? I didn't. Was I hopeful that maybe she felt like it had done her some good? Yeah. And after the show ended, my phone buzzed, and it was her. And she was joyful. My hands are still shaking, she said. But I haven't felt this good in a long time. And she's going to go back. And she's going to go back as long as it takes. And we'll find a way to make it work. Until she can find out if she can be healed. Or at least helped. That's all we want, ladies and gentlemen. We want hope. You want the promise of a possibility. You don't want the firm no. You don't want the door to shut in front of you. You don't want no conversation. This is the way it is. No conversation, no deliberate. That's not how we're programmed. Literally, that's all we want out of our doctors. It's all we want out of our insurance. Hey, give me some hope. Give me a path. Get out of my way. Help me try stuff. Make me feel like I'm moving forward. Don't let me sit at home with my hands shaking, feeling like it's never, ever going to get better. That's not how we're programmed. See, we have in a president now, not a perfect man, far from it. I'm far from perfect too. And so are you, by the way. He believes in that. Not just in the hope, not just in the healing. He believes in you. He believes in you. in your ability to make the best decisions for yourself, in your ability to dream as high as you possibly can, as wildly and as outrageously as you wish. He believes in you having the sky being your limit. All you need is for all the other people who make your hands shake to get out of the way. He wants to cut the red tape. He wants to reduce the regulations. He wants you to be able to try medical experiments. He believes that if there's somebody who's willing to sit down who might have a solution to a problem we face, why wouldn't he sit down? Which is the reason the guy works 20 hours a day. And it's so easy to expect and demand perfection. It's so preposterous. Look in the mirror, for God's sakes. But every day he wakes up and he gives you hope. He tells you the system hasn't been fair. You've been robbed blind. They haven't listened to you. They've made millions of dollars individually off of you, your hard work, and then your suffering. And that has to end. That is not the story of these United States any more than my friend having essential tremor that literally shakes her out of her shoes should be hers. Hope. I have it. And I didn't for a long time. That anybody out there is even considering voting to go back to the way we were just a year ago. Back to all the same people who promised you the world and gave you nothing and stole from you, robbed you freaking blind, and lied to you while pointing fingers somewhere else. Do you think for one hot second, if they got back into power, that they wouldn't nuke the filibuster, pack the court, gerrymander the liver out of every damn state, and forever sit on top of that power and that control? Because it's all they want. They want what's good for them. I believe this president wants what's good for you. And there's a very big difference. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's get into a little bit more of the detail about the brutal slaying of Rob Reiner and his wife at the hands, we now hear, of his son. Confirmed, yes. And let's go a little bit deeper into the president, his response to his truth after the death became public knowledge. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. No idea where that came from. That's a little scary. All right, so let's look. Brock has his mug. So we've been doing these mock-ups of the mug that we're going to be dropping. This is the shape of the mug. That's not going to be how big that is, but this is what what they're going to look like. We're going to have some of me, some of Brock, and then on his side, that is the correct font for the North is still North. I have the bigger size. So if you kind of merge these together, we're going to hope to have these probably by the start of the year. Probably by the start. They're so nice. You know, it's just the right feel. It's got kind of a nice, like, dainty feel to it, but this is solid. I love it. So we're super excited. We're going to be dropping that on you guys here soon. So happy about that. Let me tell you a little bit of something about one of our sponsors.
Why don't you finish up Dr. Simkovich?
Dr. Simkovich Concussion Institute. That's who I'm talking about. I mean, they didn't have to say, okay. They didn't have to say, we will work with you. They didn't have to say, we'll give it a go. Like, imagine if what Dr. Simkovich can do to my friend and her essential tremor. What if he makes serious progress? What? Even if no progress is made, I'll keep fighting for a cure, for a helper, for anything. They didn't bat an eye. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. The highest caliber people. If you've got chronic headaches, if you've suffered a traumatic brain injury or a concussion, 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Off the grids. All right, off
That's
the
the
grids.
first time I've ever heard a sponsor be essentially
A
the
segment.
monologue.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. You know, the holidays are hectic, family drama, last minute shopping, late nights can make the holidays feel like an endurance test. This is why CB Distillery's got everything you need. You got CBD for better sleep. You got pain relief stick for past, post-workout pain. You've got the holiday calm for yourself. Every CB Distillery product is made with premium quality, clean ingredients. They don't put any fillers in there, nothing artificial. And with more than 2 million customers now and a 100% money back guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. You're like, I don't sleep well. Try the gummies. Well, I tried them and they didn't really do anything for me. Send what you have back and they'll give you your refund. Hey, they're willing to bank on themselves.
Kate said it's the highest rated and it's backed by science.
This year, give yourself and everybody on your list the gift of better sleep, less stress, and pain relief with CBD from cbdistillery.com. Use my name, Wendy. You're going to save 25% off your entire purchase. I love them. Let's see how you're rumbling. Let's rumble. Come on, people. Michelle. People Magazine got it right, so I figured I'd stick with them for your sourcing here. Rob Reiner's son, Nick, was found near USC 6 hours after his parents' bodies were discovered in their Brentwood home. He is the suspect in the killings of Rob and Michelle, and just awful, their daughter found their bodies. Can you imagine? You know, that's a personal murder. You know what I mean, too. Murder, of course, is personal, but you can stay far away from somebody and take out their life. But to be there, to have to grab them, I just am horrified. Oh. Nick Reiner was reportedly not at home when their bodies were discovered. 32-year-old left his parents' home in the Brentwood neighborhood, traveled a short distance away to the University of Southern California. Authorities say they were able to quickly locate him near campus. I don't know how they were able to do that, but they were. He was arrested on suspicion of murder about 9:15 on Sunday. Los Angeles Police Department's Public Information Office confirmed that the location of the suspect's arrest was right near USC. Of course, the details, why it's all coming out, there's a lot of differences in this family. It's like a lot of families, right? A lot of struggle, private struggle, drugs, homelessness, a disconnect. President Trump was asked after he put out a Truth Social yesterday, and I responded to it in real time. I read it to you as it crossed and told you in the moment, and I still agree, I would not have written that. I thought it came off as selfish and narcissistic and inappropriate. Basically, he was saying Rob Reiner suffered from Trump derangement syndrome and really had allowed the diagnosis, if you will, to detour his life. And he was consumed. And he's right. Rob Reiner did, during Trump's first term, glom onto this Russia hoax nonsense that was perpetuated by Comey and all of the gang of merry thieves in the Obama administration. And so he was asked about it yesterday, and I'm going to read you a little something. I'm going to set it up. Trump unapologetic about his response to Rob Reiner's death. He pushed the Russia hoax and knew it was false. Now, I'm trying to come at this from the position of President Trump. He was impeached. He was criminally charged. He was indicted. He got dragged through court cases that everybody knew were nonsense. His life was ultimately put on hold, and everything in his world teetered like on the tip of a needle over a complete fabrication. And of course, Rob Reiner would have to know it was a total fabrication and did not care. President Trump doubled down on a statement he issued on social media in response to actor-director Rob Reiner's death, pointing out he was not a fan of his at all. Let's listen to what the president said. It was during an Oval Office award ceremony we'll talk about later on in the program, but he unabashedly, unapologetically, unflinchingly said exactly what he said yesterday. This.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country. Yeah.
I thought he was very bad for our country. That's an interesting thing to say. In September of 2017, Rob Reiner joined forces with Barack Obama government alumni, left-wing journalists, and other Trump critics to launch the Committee to Investigate Russia, a, quote, nonprofit, nonpartisan, resource provided to help Americans recognize and understand the gravity of Russia's continuing attacks on our democracy, the group's website reads. Reiner spent years spreading falsehoods about Trump in his 2016 presidential campaign, repeatedly alleging unproven ties to the Kremlin. So I would imagine there would be a visceral reaction from somebody who'd been under attack for the better part of, what, 8 years? 8 years tied to garbage? I mean, consider we're only, 4, 5 years now into the January 6th hoax? Almost double that. That's how long they've been after this guy. And yet, I believe Donald Trump wakes up every day with one focus, and that is to help you with your shakes, to give you hope, to provide some semblance of calm, to provide a common sense that has long been missing in this country. We have just survived an absolutely ridiculous chapter of American history. And the guy they had to cheat is the same guy they blamed the results of their failed policies on. So damn right, President Trump has a perspective, and he's earned the right to exercise it. It is what it is. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, a culture of blackmail and bullying inside the D.C. Police Department. What? It's so shocking. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Look, I wouldn't have done it. I don't excuse it. I understand it. It's not mine to make sense of, I gotta say, if you've ever had somebody come for you, if you've ever had a lie spread about you, because I have. It's been about 10 years, but I have. So I know where he's coming from. I understand his perspective. He's not shedding any tears. It's a tragedy, but I understand his perspective. I wouldn't have done it that way. Okay, I'm not president, right? He probably wouldn't use this color lip liner. So, okay. Anywho, now's a good time for me to tell you guys about Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com. Every now and again, I just want to hop on over to the website, Wendy Loves Gold, and see what's going. They have the ticker at the top, which is so helpful. Of course, now your connection to this site is not secure. Well, Huh?
Everything's up. Gold's up 22. Silver's up a couple cents. Platinum's up 52.50.
Wow. Platinum's up 52.
What's the PALL?
Palladium.
Palladium
Palladium.
up 21.90.
Wow, this platinum is like the Mac Daddy. $1,843. I think Texas Bullion Exchange should send me some for show and tell. Don't you? I don't know if I've ever seen palladium. Have you? Or platinum? Platinum just kind of like silver, right?
I think so. I think
It's just a higher, I don't know.
People have rings made out of it, don't they?
Yes, they do. So my friends at Texas Bullion Exchange, and you can get there by going to wendylovesgold.com or by putting in 855-927-5557. They understand the importance of protecting and diversifying your wealth with the lasting value of gold and silver. They're based in Beaumont, Texas, and they take the time to meet the unique needs of every single customer. And that's true. Everybody's different, and they treat you like you are a fingerprint, that you are singularly unique. Nobody out there is like you. I appreciate that, which means they actually have to listen to you and hear what your strategy is and learn about your family and what's your objective at the end. What do you want to be able to do with this? Let me help you get there, right? I want somebody who's going to connect with me and be like, hey, did you see the price of silver has dropped to blah, blah, blah. If you were interested in buying anymore, this is a good time. That's what you get. This is what I love about wendylovesgold.com. I love these people. They have made me into a customer. Not only do they sponsor this program and the podcast, I am a customer of theirs for good reason. Wonderful people. Jesus, was that like a...
Someone was running.
Holy mackerel. We're running with the bulls here. 855-927-5557. Get into it. Gosh, gold. Silver, $63. That's so crazy. I think once it hits 70, you've doubled, Brock.
66.
You got it when it was
I got it when it was
31.
33.
Oh, that was my rudimentary math skills. It was like, oh, I couldn't figure that out. All right, so let's see what you guys are up to. How are you rumbling for me? 197. Okay, so we have 2.5 minutes. Ample time to hit 222. It's all about the triple. Oh, can I show you guys something?
Let me show you something.
I have to show you this. How cute is this? All right. I got all your things at the P.O. box. Hi, Wendy and Brock. My name is Jamie. Blah, blah, blah. I tune into your show every day. I'm always fascinated by the custom gifts your listeners send to you. I wanted to do the same to show my appreciation for all your hard work. As a side gig, I make plushies or stuffies, as I like to call them. So I decided to make this custom one just for you, complete with a personalized fortune. I have a magic 8-ball, and look at how cute. She made me my own fortune. Outlook good for WBR.
Oh, that's neat.
Is that the cutest thing? Oh my gosh. I love it. Now she's probably on the stream. She goes by, let me see, blah, 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 blah. Where are you, Jamie? Famous Jameson. She goes by Famous Jameson, Jamie. Isn't that so cute? My magic 8-ball all by myself. I love it. Squeezy. All right, now, but this one.
We have some talented. You guys, there's some talented people.
There's some talented people out there for sure. Steve. Oh, wait a second, Jaja. Oh. Oh. Well, I got to show this later. That's good. How else? Let's see this. Gotta have. I don't know why there's an E on eat. Thank you very much. I will take this home and make sure I send this to show my kids this. They don't want to participate. That was a very dear thing. This is from Joe. Thank you, Joe. I see you, Joe, and I get your emails too. Thank you. I love your stuff. Thank you so much. So didn't even come close on that one, but okay.
Par for
Show
the
and tell
course.
Tuesday. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You struggle to not get to that point where you're desensitized to the suck, right? Where it happens so regularly. People disappoint you. The headlines are such a letdown that you almost become numb, right? You're just sort of blissfully ignorant, just sort of walking around like, yeah, I'm sure that's going on. I'd rather not know the details. Well, we got to know the details because there's a reason why the past administration had to fudge all of the numbers. They had to lie about the jobs. They had to go back and correct with errata sheets their January 6 eyewitness testimony because they lied under oath. They lied about the accuracy of the COVID vaccine. They lied about the deaths, numbers. They lied about everything. They lied about inflation. It's transitory. They lied about the border. It's secure. Everything's super duper. I swear to you right now. Right? And we're like, I'm sorry, but I've seen the same video you've seen. Until, of course, they shut down the airspace. Shh, don't let people see, right? Sort of like how I felt when they put up all the tarp around the burn zone in Lahaina. What exactly are you hiding from besides the truth? So I'm not going to be desensitized to the growing mountain of suck that we're learning about, the DEI hires, and other jerks associated with the Biden administration. Look, there's a reason why I appreciated Clarence Thomas back in the 90s, right? He was against affirmative action. He was like, it's a bad idea. How can you say that? Said fellow Black Americans. He was like, do you understand that we have plenty of skill and God-given talent in our group of people? We don't need to fudge the system. You don't need to rig the game. You don't need to give us an unfair advantage, because every time you do that, you have somebody question a Black person's success and say, well, we know why they're here. And Clarence Thomas said that was so injurious. He's correct. There are much better Black leaders out there than some of these complete boobs who, I guess, failed upwards, namely this piece of work called Pam Smith. So she's an outgoing commander in the DC Police Department, okay? Black woman. Shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter what you are, who you are, what you look like. They make it matter, okay? DEI made it matter. So if we don't look scrutinizingly through the magnifying glass at these individuals, what are we going to do? Repeat the same mistakes again and again and put people in positions that clearly they're not qualified for? Well, I'm going to read you this. DC police chief accused of fudging crime data by any means necessary in a blistering report. Why would you need to fudge crime data? I'm going to go with, because you opened up the freaking border and welcomed 20 million people, a lot of them criminals, into our country. And what did criminals do? They do criminal things. They rape, they carjack, they murder, they kidnap. They do all of these things. Unless, of course, you don't report it. And then, poof, just like that. There's no problem. Really? DC Police Chief Pam Smith pushed officers to lower crime statistics by any means necessary, including by categorizing even some violent offenses so they were not reported publicly, according to a scathing congressional report issued Sunday. The findings cast doubt on any city data showing violent crime fell by 35% and property crime fell by 11% last year. It was all bullcrap. And by the way, those of us who are not hypnotized were like, say what? That's so not what's going on. And then what did every politician in the world say? Crime is down across America under Joe Biden in his hyperbaric chamber when he's on vacation for 40%, getting whatever injected into his body he could, right? It's all down. No, it's not. Ask the people who live there. Lo and behold, the media wouldn't go and find out. Interviews with 7 of the D.C. police district commanders revealed to the House Oversight Committee that their chief pushed them to misclassify some assault and burglary charges that would be upset over the daily tally of publicly reported crimes and at times berate them for reporting the statistics on the ground. One of those commanders, the 3rd District's Michael Pulliam, was suspended and put on paid leave after being accused of fudging that data. There are 4 types of violent crimes and 5 property crimes regularly reported to the public every day: homicide, sexual abuse, assault with a dangerous weapon, robbery, burglary, motor vehicle theft, theft from a vehicle, and other theft and arson. The report was issued mere days after D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser abruptly announced on December 8th that Smith, who'd been in office since July of 23, when, during the height of DEI garbage, that she would resign this month. I wonder why. Ahead of a parallel Justice Department report that's expected to make similar findings. Chief Smith, police district commanders testified, was so preoccupied with the statistics of the select crimes that were made public that she incentivized her subordinates to lower those crimes by whatever means necessary, the 21-page House Oversight Committee report stated. Here's Fox News reporting on this outgoing D.C. police commander cooking the books, creating a culture of punitive retaliation. It all sounds so familiar under the Biden administration, doesn't it?
Led House Oversight Committee now releasing a report accusing the outgoing D.C. police chief of manipulating data to artificially lower crime statistics. Bill Malusian looking at the numbers. He's live on the Hill with this. Bill, what you find out?
Bill, good morning to you. Those House Oversight Committee Republicans say the bottom line of what their investigation found is that the outgoing D.C. police chief was essentially cooking the books on crime data and trying to make the city seem a whole lot safer than it really was. Now, those House Republicans say what their investigation consisted of was interviewing all 7 commanders of D.C. Metro Police's patrol districts, including a former commander who is currently suspended for allegedly tampering with crime stats in his own district. And these are some of the conclusions they've made in their report. They allege that D.C. Metro Police Chief Pamela Smith pressured commanders to report lower crime stats by any means necessary. The commanders testified that Chief Smith even pushed them to pursue lesser charges that aren't publicly reported, even for serious crimes, and she required certain crimes to be reviewed by her office. Now, the report also says police commanders testified that Chief Smith punished them and retaliated against them if they tried to report accurate rising crime data, even berating them in meetings and individually to pressure them into reporting those lower crime figures. Now, in a statement on the report, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says in part, quote, Chief Pamela Smith coerced staff to report artificially low crime data and cultivated a culture of fear to achieve her agenda.
Isn't that so familiar? We're going to change the data, which is why I tell you I never believe polls. Even those that talk to that voice inside of me, desperate to see Republicans doing one of something that doesn't suck. Right. So my question to you is, what's worse? A corrupt D.C. commander who happens to be a black chick. Strike 1, strike 2 against DEI initiatives that are horrendous. What's worse, her nonsense or a Minnesota CEO accused of embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars by creating a fake nonprofit and a fake CEO to whom he funneled money out of the Chamber of Commerce in Minnesota into his own personal bank account and then went to Hawaii. I mean, like, what? You're probably like, yeah, I'm sure that's true. Of course it's true. Guy's name is Jonathan Weinhagen, the CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce, accused of embezzling over $200,000 from the organization and using the money to splurge on an oceanfront stay in Hawaii. I hope that was one hell of a vacation for $200,000. And you know that it's bad when random people like you and I get the headline and decide to make a video about it, like this guy did. Listen.
The former CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce is pleading guilty to embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars. Jonathan Weinhagen is charged in Minnesota federal court, and the details are crazy. According to the indictment, Weinhagen made up a fake person and company, James Sullivan of Synergy Partners, in order to funnel money to himself, which he allegedly used on things like a trip to Hawaii. When others in the chamber got suspicious, Weinhagen allegedly told them James Sullivan died, even creating a fake obituary to prove it. On top of that, Weinhagen is accused of clawing back money the chamber donated to Crime Stoppers to help solve the murders of Minneapolis children, and spending that money on himself.
Are you out of your mind? Is there an actual person out there who's honestly doing good work, who's not ripping us off? I don't know. So you've got this black chick commander of the DC whatever who's fudging crime data and skewering people if they don't lie about violent crime in DC. Then you've got this white guy, with 4 kids who I guess took his wife and family on a wonderful trip when he should have been using the money to help find the murderers of little children through Crime Stoppers. Like what? See, Dirtbag does not know gender, does not know color, does not know sexual orientation. I simply don't understand it. It is so freaking rampant. It is stunning. It gets to the point where you're like, just tell me one person. Just one. $275,000, roughly $290,000 in chamber money vanished during this dude's tenure, financially hobbling the organization and forcing it into merger talks. Okay, it's the Chamber of Commerce. We're ripping off the chamber. Come on to Minneapolis. It's a great place. Come on. We deserve better, you guys. We deserve better. We deserve all of these people to be found guilty and to be put in prison. Full stop. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, when we're talking about Minnesota, if I told you that wasn't just a one-off with the Somalis there, that in fact, that whole blueprint, it was a blueprint for Somali crime around the world, you'd be like, come on, say what? Okay, stay tuned. It's next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like, honestly, how horny and hard up do you have to be for cash to steal from COVID funds, to steal from needy kids, to steal from dead kids? Right?
And make up obituaries? I mean, that's a lot of work.
If he freaking did his job, it would take less time and effort than the concocted story of a fake nonprofit with a fake CEO. And that's just because somebody on the Chamber of Commerce was paying attention. That's it. But see, if everybody is chasing their tail, nobody can pay attention, right? All right, let me tell you guys about... All right, I might do it at the top because I'm going to take one right now. Let me tell you about the healthy fat from Dr. Gundry. It's what's in here. I drink it every day. My blueberry Shazam. All right, so watermelon lemonade, blueberry lemonade, and like some raspberry medley. Wow. You don't think about it. We have one left. This is the new one. This is the watermelon lemonade. This is good too. You don't think about drinking water, right? If you're not a big water drinker, you're like, meh. Or you drink water, but it's like it doesn't really float your boat. Why not throw in a scoop of Dr. Gundry's MCT Wellness? It's a dietary supplement, crushes your cravings, kills your appetite. It's a great meal supplement. Put some in water, shake it up, put it on ice. First of all, it is sweet with a little bit of sour. So you're like, yeah, that's kind of nice. And it makes you full, which is great. And it satisfies that I need to have a small piece of chocolate craving from you, right? Sometimes you have that in the middle of the day. This is it. This is it. Supports the production of ketones for more energy. Oops, I almost threw it in my face. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds drinking this. And in fact, hold on. I love this. Hey, Wendy, this is from Becky. I've lost another 15 pounds. I'm nearly in panic mode because I've just run out of drink mix. Waiting for the next can to show up. So excited to be part of Dr. Gundry's. This will work, helping to keep your workout, staying away from carbs. It is working for me. 46 pounds to go. Slow and steady wins the race. So she had originally started, and she's like, Becky was going to do what Dr. Gundry did. And she's like, he lost 70 pounds. I'm going to lose 70 pounds. Then the first 15 came off, and then the next 46. And then she was like, I think I'm going to go to 100. And I was like, say what? She's like, oh, I got 100 pounds to lose. I'm like, okay, go, girl, you go. And that is what she's doing. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. All right, let me take this. Oh, I'm so geeked out. Let me get my testimonial sheet. Let me get my little cheat sheet. I have so many pages here. Where did it go? There we go. Healthy Cell's new formula is out, and I need it. You might need it. Brock, probably not so much.
I probably could use it.
You think so?
I don't know who couldn't, really. I mean, once you get to a certain age.
Do you guys want me to give you a teaser beezer?
Like 55.
Don't tell anybody I told you already, okay? How you doing? Don't you want to know what the flavor is? All right, let's see it. Tropical. WendyBellRadio.com. Easiest way if you'd like to follow along our live video stream. It's up, it's live all 3 hours. Join us and join the family by being part of our chat. You know, I stumbled upon this yesterday, and it is a video put out by a woman who has a very thick Indian accent. And if you could watch her and read the subtitles, you wouldn't be lost. But if you try to hear her only on the radio or with your eyes closed, you'd kind of struggle. So I've kind of made notes of what she said, but it's very interesting. She is I think she's some kind of a reporter, a journalist, but kind of follows global propaganda. That's kind of her jam. And she stumbled upon what she says is this bombshell evidence that's what's going on in Minnesota with the Somalians ripping off the American taxpayer blindly and basically blackmailing Tim Walz into allowing it to happen by saying, not only are we going to call you racist if you stop it, we're not going to vote for you anymore. And when you're a willow like Tim Walz, you'll fold for anything if it means you can stay in your cushy job and do next to nothing. I want to read you kind of a breakdown of what she said because it's sort of stunning. It takes what my mind has normally seen. Somalians, what do you think of? I think of being a little girl and looking at National Geographic and looking at some of the exposés on drought, on famine and problems in Africa. That's where I am. Children with the distended bellies, the flies everywhere. You don't think about a sophisticated network of thieves. But this woman has exposed that exactly is what's going on in the Somalian community. And I'm like, what? So I want to read this to you. She says the exact fraud happening by Somalian immigrants in America also occurred by Somali immigrants in Sweden. And I was like, what? 4,000 miles away. A UN investigation found that 70% of all food aid is stolen, that there are ghost beneficiaries. $100 million, in fact, was stolen in Sweden by fake NGOs created to siphon the funds, fake signatures, fake invoices, fake food, real money, but fake families and fake children. It's like the guy from the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. Fake NGO, fake CEO, steal the money. This isn't just an American story. The same thing happened in Sweden. Somali-born MPs and community leaders there were caught in a scheme siphoning over $100 million from schools, welfare, and public programs. In Minnesota, prosecutors say $250 million meant to feed hungry American children was stolen, the largest welfare fraud in U.S. history. Same pattern, same community network, same playbook, and everybody insists that these are all isolated incidents. I'm sure they're not connected, right? So how did two countries 4,000 miles apart end up with nearly identical fraud networks led by people from the exact same place? Well, this UN investigation found diversion in all 55 displacement camps surveyed. So I guess there were different areas they were helping out, right? Multiple reports documented up to 70% of the food aid was stolen or diverted. And investigations from 2010 to 2023 repeatedly showed aid convoys getting hijacked, taxed, or resold, ghost beneficiaries, fake NGOs created to siphon funds, and the money doesn't flow through ministries, it flows through clans. Loyalty networks are greater than governance, and clan leaders control the distribution lists, the beneficiaries, the paperwork. Billions of dollars move outside Western oversight. This is Somalia's operating system. Survival economics built on exploitation, ghost paperwork, intimidation, and aid theft. Now drop that system into Western welfare states built on trust, self-reporting, and paperwork, and it scales. Minnesota scandal wasn't a mistake. It was a blueprint. Sweden wasn't random. Same methods, different country, bigger budgets. Here's the uncomfortable truth, friends. Minnesota looks identical to old UN scandals in Somalia. Ghost children, ghost beneficiaries, all of it. The only difference in Somalia, the money came from aid. In Minnesota and Sweden, it came from taxpayers. These are not isolated scandals. They are warnings. Failed states don't stay contained. Their corruption systems travel. And if the West keeps treating this conversation as taboo, we're worried about being called racist. The losses will not stop at $250 million. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, President Trump blasts woke Governor Jared Polis. Says he's controlled by Tren de Aragua. What? Next.
You gotta love how the news media covers affordability, but not fraud.
Right?
Maybe things would be more affordable
if we didn't have freaking fraud. Jagoffs. 100% agree with you. All right, I'm not going to do a dang thing unless we have 2.22. I'm throwing it down. Okay, well, we're doing all right then. Can we get to 277 now? We've got 300 to go, and you guys are killing it. All right, so let's see. It's called bone strength. New bone strength, okay? So here's the not so fun fact for us. Women start losing bone density gradually around the age of 30, but it significantly accelerates during perimenopause and menopause in your 40s and your 50s due to plummeting estrogen levels, which are crucial for bone maintenance, leading to rapid loss, often up to 20% in the first few years post-menopause. Super duper. So my friends at Healthy Cell have just dropped this bad boy, okay? It's their newest product called Bone Strength. It's a gel supplement that has calcium and, of course, several other vitamins and minerals that are key to maintaining strong bones. They have vitamin D, vitamin K12, magnesium, zinc, and more. It's all in one gel pack. It replaces 12 pills worth of supplements. That's what this does. It has a delicious tropical flavor that's so much better than those chalky gummies and calcium chews. Ooh.
Mango.
Mm-hmm. 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 I think it's delicious. I mean, who takes supplements to be delicious? But that's how you do it. And the thing about the microgel, because we know once we get old, our stomach lining and acids don't do what we're supposed to do. So it doesn't, normally we don't completely digest pills and tablets and stuff, which sucks, but it's true. This microgel is digestible. It is 165% more absorbed by the body than popping a pill. And this is for your bone strength. Do you want to try one?
No.
Okay. Somebody who has bone problems. So let me tell you all about it. healthycell.com/Wendy. Literally, that's all you need to know. healthycell.com/Wendy. I love whatever they do. I love whatever they do. And imagine your daily regimen of your pills. I remember my mom used to have one of those, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pop them all open and fill the pills in, right? And she had like a handful of pills. If you could take all of that and instead, and throw those away and instead just be like, wouldn't you? I would. healthycell.com/Wendy. 20% off your first order. How you doing? How about this? After 55, your body's sleep chemistry changes. Gosh, that's why REM sleep is so huge. Melatonin production drops significantly by up to 50%. Temperature controls weaken and bathroom trips skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
Over half of adults 55 and older struggle with poor sleep. And it's not just aging, it's biology. That's why they have REM sleep from Healthy Cell. I'm telling you, these things are not just like pie in the sky. And while we're talking about it, like literally, what do I use? I have Dr. Gundry, I have Healthy Cell, and I use Blood Flow 7. And the Blood Flow 7 for me is the ultimate game changer. I was doing ridiculous pull-ups yesterday. I have no business doing with my chicken arms. Okay? And I was. And I will tell you, there is not a snowball's chance in hell that I would be doing pull-ups. Now, granted, like I have a bench underneath me that I'm straddling and my arms are on it. And my knees are across it so I can kind of push up a little bit, which is helpful. Or I'd be like, whatever. Right? There's not a hope that I'd be able to do that with all of the bells and whistles helping me out if I wasn't taking Blood Flow 7. Nitric oxide, that's what this is. It opens up your blood vessels. You get more blood flow through your body. How does that matter? Clarity, focus, right? So helpful. Stamina, strength, no more mid-afternoon crash, no more yawning in the afternoon, no more feeling like I'm not gonna make it. And then at the end of the day, because you've gone all day like an energized bunny doing stuff, you crash, and you sleep like a boulder. Blood Flow 7. I'm telling you what, if you all don't take this, you're stupid.
And if you're a dude,
if you don't take Alpha Gold Male, that's what Brock is on. Alpha Gold Male Creator Talking Points. You want to know what my talking points are? It's good for you. It's great to control your testosterone.
I feel the same on it that I did Blood Flow 7.
100%, but it's good for you in other ways. Better sleep and recovery, enhances strength, stamina, and endurance, boosts sexual drive, and You know, there are just some things I really don't need to hear from you.
Wow.
The is one of
Well,
them.
you know, I want to give a testimonial.
Okay. Testimony.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Stop it. It's like thinking about your parents.
Are you going to show us what you were going to show us before?
Oh,
You have
what?
a minute.
No, I did this.
No, you pulled something over like, I'll show it later.
It was the clings. Steve from Concord, North Carolina. First Rush was called home. Then Dan left to save our nation. You are one of the few voices left on the airways. I hope you accept these gifts as gifts of thanks. Uh-oh. You know what they are, people.
Geez, that's a huge one. That's a huge.
That's a window cling right there, babe.
Wonder if it'll fit on my window.
I think we should put them up. That was extraordinarily thoughtful, Steve, from Concord, North Carolina. That's my appreciation. And there's, oh, stop. Why?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, there are a lot of things going on right now to cut off the head, multiple heads of the snake. And I would say the snake is terrorism. The snake is anything that puts you and me in danger. The snake is anything that pollutes our shores with drugs. And this president is knives out, swinging to cut that head of the snake off. Every position he is taking it right now, putting the USS Gerald Ford in the Caribbean Sea to keep eye on Venezuela, to send a message loud and clear to Nicolas Maduro. We know what you've been doing. We know with whom you've been doing it. And we're not pleased that your Tren de Aragua goons have infiltrated our land and our Congress. If you believe such allegations, and I do. So yesterday in the Oval Office, President Trump did something I have not seen him do. He resuscitated something that was given out in the 19-teens. It's called the Mexico Border Defense Medal. It was something that was created, in fact, in August, established, I should say, back in August, via a memo signed by Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War. It is called the Mexico Border Defense Medal. And yesterday, the president awarded a group of 13 soldiers and Marines with this medal during a ceremony at the White House. The president said, on day 1 of my administration, I signed an executive order, making it the core mission of the United States military to protect and defend the homeland. And today we are here to honor our military men and women for their central role in the protection of our border. He added that border security was an issue he placed a great deal of emphasis on during his most recent campaign for president, and that the men and women of the military are doing an outstanding job of ensuring that security. Pete Hegseth spoke about the border mission's importance earlier in the day while meeting with the awardees at the Pentagon. And he said, I think it's really cool if the folks that we have here get a chance to stand with their commander-in-chief in front of their country for this incredible mission, which started on day one of this administration. See, President Trump, as the media were losing their minds that he had put his hand on the Bible for a second time and had taken his oath and was now president again, they almost became too busy to see all of the executive orders that he signed on day one. And there was a bevy. Why? He made it abundantly clear what he's doing. You do not have a sovereign nation when you have borders that can be invaded by design, and those invaders bring foreign toxic chemicals meant to kill your youngest population. And President Trump declared war on all of them. Now, at this particular ceremony, the president said something very intriguing. This is yet again like a fourth time now in the last week that Donald Trump has made mention of bombshell, conclusive proof of 2020. You might not want to believe it. It might not be conventional in your mind, depending on where you live and how you vote and the news outlets you prefer. But just because everybody tells you something didn't happen doesn't make it so. The Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce fellow who was swindling everybody with a fake company and a fake CEO, I'm sure, was telling everybody, no, that's not what's going on. The DC police commander who was fudging crime data on purpose, I'm sure, is telling everyone, no, that's not what's going on. Of course, that is what's going on. And we have a president who knows damn well why the border was open. He knows damn well that 20 million people who shouldn't be here are here. And he realizes he only has 3 more years to get them out, honoring members of the military for helping in that mission. Was meaningful yesterday. But then he said something that I found intriguing. And it was about Colorado Governor Jared Polis, who is, of course, at extreme odds of this administration. He is a sanctuary city governor, white willow, kind of flimsy, white bread fellow. Okay, that's who he is. And President Trump yesterday said that he believes the governor of Colorado is under the control of Venezuela. Listen.
Colorado, the poorly run state of Colorado, with a governor who's incompetent. And frankly, with a governor that won't allow our wonderful Tina to come out of a jail, in a high-intensity jail, because she caught people cheating on an election, and they said she was cheating. She wasn't cheating. She went over, she looked at one of the election scams going on, and because she did that, they put her in jail for 9 years. The governor of Colorado is a weak and pathetic man who was run by Tren de Aragua, the criminals from Venezuela, took over sections of Colorado, and he was afraid to do anything. But he puts Tina in jail for 9 years because she caught people cheating. And when she walked over and got involved in it, they said she was cheating. She wasn't cheating. She caught people cheating on the election, 2020, along with a lot of other people that cheated on that election. You'll see that coming out more and more.
Interesting things to say. He's controlled by Tren de Aragua. So how does Jared Polis respond? Governor of Colorado, responding to criticism from President Trump earlier this month, posted on social media that, quote, we would all benefit if the president spent less time posting attacks and instead worked on ending tariffs and making Christmas more affordable for American families. It is a traditional leftist twisting of the facts. Stop attacking me. I'm the victim. You're obsessed with me. Who else has said that? Jasmine Crockett, Ilhan Omar, stop the attacks, right? You should focus on other things. Well, tariffs are bringing money in, Jared, so he's not going to change that. And Christmas is more affordable thanks to the moves this administration has been making. I find the whole part about Venezuela, though, particularly interesting. And so I went back, by the way, and I remember back in August of 2024, then private citizen, former president and presidential candidate Donald Trump warned of Tren de Aragua in Aurora, Colorado. And remember what happened? It's what happened in 2019 when he warned of the caravans coming up from South America. Ho, 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 they laughed. Ho, ho, caravans of people coming. And then what happened? It was like nonstop, 1,500 people a day, right? President Trump has spoken of Tren de Aragua in Colorado for quite a while. Trump says he's coming to Aurora, doubles down on claims of Venezuelan gang violence. This is at cprnews.com, whatever the heck that stands for. Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman told Denverites that he welcomed the former president's potential visit. Bring it on. Come here. I'm excited for you to come here so I can show you that the narrative that is being presented nationally about the city isn't true. That there are no apartment complexes under gang control. That the city is not under gang control, Venezuelan gang control. Hey, Brock, what did we find out after that happened? What did we find out about Tren de Aragua and the apartment buildings in Aurora?
That it was true.
Oh, that the apartment buildings in Aurora were under gang control. Do you remember when J.D. Vance got fact-checked by an apoplectic Martha Raddatz? Oh, it's not all apartment complexes in Aurora. It's just a couple. And J.D. was like, are you listening to yourself? You absolute hack. How many apartment complexes run by Venezuelan gang members, the most ruthless arm of the Maduro government? How many need to be running an American apartment complex for you to believe that there's a problem? The reason why I bring this up. When is he wrong? Tell me. When is he wrong? He warned about the caravans weeks before it happened. He warned about all of the ills at the border weeks before it happened, right? Months even. And they come after him and they laugh and they mock. And then all he has to do is sit back and say, about that, your governor let it happen. Say what? That's the story that needs to be chewed on. How much does Tren de Aragua control Jared Polis? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. So where is the justice? Did you guys hear about the criminal illegal alien who raped and sodomized a woman with cerebral palsy, who got the kid gloves treatment by an Obama-appointed judge? I know. Oh my gosh. Next.
Sort of the same question we have about Katie Hobbs.
100% correct.
Maybe not Tren de Aragua, but
she's probably
cartels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How's everybody? How are you doing? I looked back on that. I'm like, how long ago did Donald Trump warn about the TDA goons? And people were like, can you believe that? These people are searching for a better chance. They are escaping persecution. No, they're goons. Okay? They're goons. And they're overtaking our cities. And Democrats let it happen. So did some stupid Republicans. Anywho, how's everybody? Anywho, so I can report that Bobby and Chris got into Tennessee yesterday. Super excited. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
I can also report that we still have Second Amendment commemorative gifts left.
Do you know how many? I think we're under 100.
We are under 100.
Yeah.
But if you want to get them for Christmas, please order them soon. Give Lindsay a chance.
She's awesome. All right, let me tell you guys about Chef IQ. Chef IQ, still time, 30% off this week. ChefIQ.com. Use my name to get that 30% off. This season, give yourself and the people you love who love beef, who like steak, who like pork, who like turkey and chicken and fish and meat. Give them the gift that keeps on giving. With Chef IQ, you can sip your cocktail or your cocoa, whatever you prefer, and actually spend time with your family instead of hovering around the oven, right? Making sure your prime rib isn't getting overcooked, right? Chef IQ is the wireless cooking thermometer that takes all of the guesswork out of the holiday meals. Your roast turkey prime rib, it comes out perfect every time. You don't say, I think it's done. You're like, I know it's perfect. There's a difference, right? There's and oh yeah, let's go. It's so nice. It tells you when to flip, when to take off the heat, how long to let it rest before you carve it. With Chef IQ, everything is at your fingertips. Literally in this box. Bing, it's a little itty bitty box, and you're like, what's in there? Well, it's called Chef IQ. These are little probes. They're super easy. Into your meat up to one of the lines. It tells you everything. There's literally 4 questions. What are you making? How do you like it cooked? What surface are you cooking it on? Right? And then hit this button, and we're going to tell you how to do it. Okay. And they're like, season your meat. When you're done seasoning your meat, you're like, okay. And then it's like, turn on the heat to blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay. And it's like, put the probe in. Okay. Now put your steak on or whatever. Okay. Hit start. It pairs with your phone. It tells you the temperature inside. You can watch it. It counts down for you so you know when you have to go outside and flip, or if you're inside when you need to do things. And then when you're done flipping it, you hit the button again, sets the timer again until you're done. And it even worked with an Inferno in my freaking greasy grill. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy, 30% off. Literally, screw everybody else. Just get one for you.
Wow, Merry Christmas.
You might want to get 2, one for you and one for somebody who's like, oh. Be like, here you go. See, if you
Christmas spirit.
If
Screw
you
everybody
just,
else.
If you just got our things, you could have all of your holiday stuff done stat. Before I tell you this disturbing, disgusting story about a disabled woman being raped and sodomized by a criminal illegal alien, I want to tell you, Sean Duffy is white on rice on these illegal driver's licenses. He's focused on New York right now. Here's your headline on the Washington Times. New York gave illegal driver's licenses to foreign truck drivers, right? And you're like, again, back to the opening monologue. You don't want to get into that point where you're desensitized, where things that are disturbing and shocking don't disturb you or shock you anymore. When you're like, yeah, everybody sucks, right? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that person. Getting there. New York has intentionally been issuing truck driver's licenses to illegal immigrants in violation of federal rules, the DOT said Friday, and the state will be stripped of tens of millions of highway dollars unless it revokes every illegally issued license and complies with the law. Here's your number. A staggering 53% of commercial driver's licenses issued to non-domiciled people, so people whose residence is outside of the U.S., broke the rules. A staggering 53%. Somewhere in the U.S. illegally, others had short-term work permits, but the state issued them licenses valid for up to 8 years. Sean Duffy said New York was the worst of all states in violating the federal rules, which he said long predate the Trump administration, but have been ignored by states and have gone unenforced by previous presidents, right? This is not complicated. We want people who are good drivers on the road. We want people who don't suck in positions of government, right? Why ever would you be giving all of these licenses to illegal aliens? What are they transporting? People? Drugs? Cash? I don't know. Why is this the shtick? This disgusting story. I mean, for the Democrats who are all about compassion and humanity, and do-goodery, Obama-appointed judge refuses to give more jail time to illegal alien who raped woman with cerebral palsy. Like, full stop. Do you need me to tell you more? Or do you say, Houston, we have a problem with justice in this country. We have a problem with triggered Obama, Biden, Clinton appointed judges who are trying to do things beyond the law, waving their magic wands. A federal judge appointed by Obama is refusing to add additional jail time to a criminal sentence for a 7-time deported illegal alien. How about you get the hell out and you take the stupid judge with you? Yeah? He's convicted of raping and sodomizing a woman with cerebral palsy for his repeated violation of law. Judge Judith Levy, whatever, U.S. District Judge, appointed to the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan in 2014 by Obama, recently ensured that 30-year-old illegal alien Edith Renan Membrembo Diaz of Honduras would not have to spend another 19 months in prison for violating federal immigration law, which is a standard sentence for an illegal alien who was deported from the United States 7 freaking times. Siete! He first crossed the southern border in 19 near El Centro, California. He was arrested by federal agents, deported several times, 7 times, before returning again, this time to Michigan. In 22, he was arrested and later pled guilty to raping and sodomizing a woman with cerebral palsy and other disabilities in her apartment building. That year, he was sentenced to 6 to 15 years in Michigan prison. Earlier this year, Diaz pled guilty to repeatedly illegally re-entering the U.S. after being deported. Though prosecutors said 19 months is typically the appropriate sentence for illegal re-entry repeated, Judge Levy disagreed at hearings recently, ultimately refusing to give Diaz any more jail time than he had already spent in federal custody. But this is the part that kicks you in the pants. Ready? And I'm talking about the front, not the back. Levy went so far, the judge, as to praise the criminal illegal rapist, Diaz. Praise him for illegally crossing the border several times, saying, quote, I commend you for supporting your family, for expressing your devotion to them, and for working here in the United States in jobs that Americans apparently do not want to work in, and certainly not for the wages that were undoubtedly abusive of your work for them. I see someone who is stepping forward to take responsibility and to gain insight into what led you to commit that crime of sexual assault and this one of illegal reentry. Triggered, wacky, white college-educated liberal scourge. That right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the virus in this country. Period. Quick time out. We'll be back right after this. Are you freaking kidding me? I comment. That sentence alone, that run-on sentence, right? As I'm reading it, I'm like, Kelly Pigeon knows what I'm talking about. Grammar Nazi. I'm sitting there reading it. I'm like, ah. She's like, everything that is wrong with the white college educated liberal chick. Boom, right there in a sentence. Well, Wendy, it's not just white people. Well, no, actually it is. There's a special slice of psycho on that side. Prove me wrong. And by the way, I don't care if that offends anybody. Anywho, let's go. So we did our sit down with Dr. Dubiak yesterday. Brock put it on his Facebook page. Mine
Yes.
have all been hacked. So I have no access to my Facebook pages anymore. Thanks, Meta. But we sat down with Dr. Dubiak and went over, we had like a 10-minute video, which I think is super interesting. If you go to bodyByAim360.com, you're going to find a place you can click and take this. I mean, I don't even know how to accurately describe it. It's a genetic test, but it's the most amazing like dive on you, your parents, like where your double helix comes from, and your propensity to become an alcoholic, to become a diabetic, to have problems with sleep, to have problems with bone density, to have problems with your hormones, to have problems with all sorts of stuff. And these things in this genetic analysis, which is 37 pages, holy cow, tells you if you're going to, all these things, what your likelihood is. So for instance, for me, a lot of the things that show wonky on me are not surprisingly related to circadian rhythm and sleep and sunlight and how I'm on the opposite side of the clock and all of this other stuff. Makes sense. But then it shows you, if you're in this range, what are some things that you should be taking to help reduce that risk? And it tells you. And you're like, and so I'm thinking about all of my products that I have here from Healthy Cell. I'm like, I have a Healthy Cell for that. It's fascinating. BodyByAim360.com. That said, there's also the phenomenal and not connected blood work. The blood work is really the opening door to Dr. Dubiak's weight loss program. And that is how Brock lost his 70 pounds. And it works. It just absolutely works. But you're given this intense blood panel. For the gene stuff, you just need to swab your mouth. No need to come to Pittsburgh or anything. You can do it all online, which is brilliant. But to see Dr. Dubiak to get on that program, it's important. $79 for that blood test for new patients now. $79. I've never heard it that way. BodyByAim360.com. 412-227-9255. So yeah, I was surprised that I am in the yellow zone for risk of diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I was like, that's interesting. I'm going to chalk it up to my love for IPAs. Just going to say. Maybe if I cut back on that, I don't know. But he even told me what kind of, like fasting wouldn't work for me. Running distances wouldn't work for me to lose weight, right? The exercise that I do presently, which is that high intensity training, that's the best kind for me. This test tells you that, this genetic test. It's crazy.
He told me fasting would work for me.
Totally different bodies, totally different background, DNA. You have no idea, no clue. Now I do. I can't wait to go through every detail because there are things on there that I can take action on now. You know, it's fascinating. I'm very appreciative. I think you will too. Appreciate it. All right, so this next segment, my ire got away from me. I got on a roll. So we're going to be talking about Trump and these weapons of mass destruction. Remember that whole mess? So did we ever establish, did George Bush know there were no weapons of mass destruction? Did he just get lousy information? Does anybody remember? I don't remember. Do you?
I don't believe any of that stuff anymore.
I don't either.
Do I think he knew? Yes. I mean, we armed and we put in power Saddam Hussein. Always need a reason to go to war. And if they can't find one, they'll make one up.
Let's see what you guys are up to here on the stream. 285. Oh, my heavens. We need 150 to get to that sweet spot. You guys are doing great.
600.
7,300 people watching. Hi. Another 1,000 on X. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you. I know you have choices. I mean, duh. You're not very friendly.
What? I didn't say anything.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Super sunny out. Right?
Yeah. And warm.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. In that Oval Office ceremony where the president was awarding to 13 members of the military the Mexico Border Defense Medal, he said something and did something that I thought was very interesting. The president designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. You know, there is no random with this president. He doesn't just do things because. There's always a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason why Trump had a visceral reaction to the death of Rob Reiner. You and I might have been turned off by what he said and the timing of it. But President Trump is not random. There is no, I don't know why. And he sends signals to you and to me about things that are coming. So this is what he said. This is the fact sheet about what this means. President Trump designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. The order directs the Attorney General to immediately pursue criminal charges, sentencing enhancements, and sentencing variances in fentanyl trafficking cases. This is about more than criminal, illegal gangbangers, cartels. This is more than MS-13, Cartel de los Sols, Tren de Aragua. This is about people on the inside. People here in America in their respective positions, and some, I believe, are in very big positions of power. Would you be surprised to find out, now that the president has classified fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, would you be surprised in the federal government's investigations and hunting down the people who are poisoning our kids, to find a governor, a senator, Congress people who are part of it? I wouldn't be at all. Not at all. I'm prepared for that, in fact. The order directs the Secretary of State and the Secretary of the Treasury to pursue appropriate actions against relevant assets and financial institutions for those involved in or supporting the manufacture, distribution, and sale of illicit fentanyl and its core precursor chemicals. Cutting off the money. You cut off USAID. You cut off Act Blue. You circumvent NGOs. And if there is money to give to another government for a specific reason, Marco Rubio told us yesterday the State Department is no longer going to be funneling it through non-government agencies. Why? Well, we heard from the woman blowing the whistle on the Somalian fraud. That's not just in Minnesota. It's in freaking Sweden. It's around the world, ladies and gentlemen. These are networks. How do you cut them off? You cut off the money. You go after the money. You go after the people making the money. There is perhaps no stronger addiction than that to money, stronger than drugs. The order directs the Secretary of War and the Attorney General to determine whether the Department of War should provide enhanced national security resources to the Department of Justice as necessary during an emergency situation involving a weapon of mass destruction. That means that this designation gives Pete Hegseth the ability to bring in the United States military in order to stop the trafficking of this drug, even if that means bringing in the military into a governor's office. The order directs the Secretary of War, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security, to update their chemical incident response-related directives to include the fentanyl threat, and directs Pete Hegseth, or rather Secretary of Homeland Security, to identify fentanyl smuggling networks using weapons of mass destruction and non-proliferation-related threat intelligence. You guys, this is the entire globalist lifeblood. What do you have? You have humans, human trafficking, child sex trafficking, adult human trafficking, sexual servitude, right? You have drugs and probably gold and other precious metals. They're going after it. I want you to hear, meantime, as the president has just put out to you that some big stuff with fentanyl is about to break. And it's going to break in ways, and he's letting the people know, you will not be protected. The military will come for you. Make no mistake. There's Tom Homan in the Oval Office as President Trump is announcing this. And the president steps aside and he brings his border czar up. And it was perhaps 3 minutes of the most succinct, mesmerizing, granular detail from Tom Homan that I've heard. And he's seen despicable, awful things based on this whole, it's humanitarian to open the border and encourage people from all over the world to take a life-defying journey, to travel with rapists and murderers and traffickers and organ harvesters, right? Because that's not a problem, right? Tom Homan said this president has done something nobody else has been able to do. Listen.
You know, it's always an honor for me to be in the Oval Office with the greatest president of my lifetime. Yes, I said it, and I meant it. You know, I just got home last night. I toured the border in California, Arizona, and Texas. I did it in a four-wheel drive. I did it on the river. I did it from the air. Hundreds upon hundreds of miles of border. I didn't see one illegal alien. Not a single one. I've done this since 1984. I worked for 6 different presidents. No one's done more than President Trump. What he has done is gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Hard to stop. I went to hundreds of miles of border and didn't see one illegal alien. Incredible, considering the Biden administration we had 10, 12,000 a day, most released in the United States.
Most of them released in the United States. And stop it with the conversation on the left about open borders being humane. Stop it with your sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy. We all know what open borders mean, and it's terror for women and children. Listen.
I want to make something perfectly clear, because we get attacked all the time being inhumane. The Biden administration is much more humane. It's a bunch of crap. Because there's been studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. They get raped. And not just the women, children too. I've done numerous investigations in that. Sex trafficking was at historic highs with that open border. Fentanyl, historic highs that killed 250,000 Americans. No inspector terrorists that came across the border. Record, historic. What happened under the Biden administration was the most inhumane thing I've seen in my lifetime.
And he seals it with a punctuation mark and says, we are saving lives. This president is allowing us to do what needs to be done.
Now that the border is 96% decline, 96% less people are coming, how many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life. President Trump brought together one hell of a team here, and the success proves we all working together, one team, one fight. We're not done yet. We're going to keep going, and I guarantee you we're going to continue saving thousands and thousands of lives. Secure border means strong national security. Secure border saves lives. Thank you.
Do you know what I hear? Do you know what I see? And I read some of the accounts of the 13 military members who were honored there with the Mexico Border Defense Medal. The joy in being able to do a job. The joy of being able to focus on a problem and go after it and fix it. And to do that rather than being on that hamster wheel, running around. The border is secure, said Alejandro Mayorkas. We don't know where the kids are. What kids? I don't even know what's a kid. Define that word. What do we have? Hey, Earl, get in here. How do you define the word kid? Well, we define it as children under the age of 18 who traveled here from other countries, 450,000 of them that your administration lost. Where might they be? I've got no idea. I don't know what you're done. No hablo inglés. You've got a president and an administration that is pumped, that wants to be there. You have a MAGA population that knows President Trump is not the perfect leader, but by golly, he's leading and he's letting people do their damn jobs and it's making a difference. And saving a life freaking matters. And not having a little girl raped matters. Period. And so anybody out there who wants to clutch their pearls, suck it. Period. I want you to hear President Trump declaring fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. He chooses his words very carefully. And I hope all of the people in this country who've been profiting off of the death, the addiction and destruction of our freaking sons and daughters hears him loud and clear.
That's why today I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
100%. Puts it out there for you. And that means the designation allows this administration to access money allocated for detecting and eliminating weapons of mass destruction, and for the Department of Justice to pursue stronger sentences. You know, I want to see people go to jail. And one of them at the top of my list right now is because she's on trial. Remember Judge Hannah Dugan? The one who tipped off the illegal in her courtroom and let him flee out the back stairs. Yeah, she's on trial. I want to talk about that. And Joe Biden having a real difficult time getting money for his presidential library. The most voted for president in American history? Really? Next. It's almost like I get a little fussy about that. Anyway, I get caught up in my own world and then I'm like, oh, that's right. People are watching. Sorry. Hi. Okay, what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Dr. Rafferty, Dr. Richard Rafferty, and what Dr. Rafferty does for folks. Spinal stenosis, degenerative disc disease. Ugh. These things sound painful, and they are painful. And if you've gone through severe back pain because of a bulging or herniated disc, you kind of have two options. One, deal with the pain. Two, have surgery. And I don't know if either is good. What if there was a door number 3? What if there was an option C? And in that option was no surgery, no pain, and your body would regenerate the crumbling disc and allow you to live the rest of your life pain-free. I mean, like, I'm like, three, give me the third one. I will take that one. That's Dr. Rafferty. That's Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. That's intradisc neutrosis. That's what it is. It's a therapy. It takes 8 to 10 weeks. People are like, but I don't live in Pittsburgh. How am I going to come to Pitt? Well, you'd be surprised. People come to Pittsburgh. They come here for 2 months. They get their lives back. It's amazing. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. 412-906-9600. Tell them we sent you. Call, ask, investigate. You got nothing to lose. Hope. Let's go. It could help you. It's worth it. Right? It's worth it. Mm-mm. How's everybody? I almost just like hyperspaced into another dimension. And I fussied myself into a froth. You know what is super great at 11 o'clock? 3.5.
I was waiting for something.
What? Okay. Oh my goodness. I still have beautiful things to tell you about. Can you believe, and this was cute, this is what I love about CB Distillery. They asked when we were going to be on the air for Christmas week, so next week. And we told them, and they said, hey, do you think you could talk about us a couple times next week? And I'm like, yes. In fact, yes, we can. I think that's cool. Most people, I think, take off the holidays, you know,
Yeah.
But obviously, CB Distillery sees in you guys a reason to hang around, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you. So we will be here every day except Christmas, which is going to be brutal because we're having the whole family over again, and then I'm going to have to go to bed and like ghost people, and all of a sudden.
We are good at that. You seem to do it. You had no problem ghosting me.
What?
At one time I said, where's Wendy? Joe's like, oh, she just left.
You guys remember the name Hannah Dugan, right? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. The trial of Milwaukee judge Hannah Dugan started yesterday. Got kind of a recap. This is one of those situations where this judge has got to be found guilty. You're not allowed to tip off people that ICE is in the hallway, right? Or if you do, there've got to be consequences. So this is the story. The trial of disgraced Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan started. She's facing up to 6 years in prison for allegedly assisting an illegal immigrant in evading ICE in her courtroom. FBI arrested Dugan in April, with Cash Patel issuing a statement saying, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in a courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. So what was this guy? I mean, this guy was ordered to deport like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right? And they have audio of this judge basically saying, go, split. Go get, I'll do this. I'll get the heat. essentially telling the lawyer for this illegal alien, I'll go run interference with the FBI and ICE. You make sure your client gets the hell out of here. You know, if you've got allies like that, if those are people who in this country are American citizens and they're members of justice, we're screwed. But we are. Look what they did to the J6ers. Throw some people in prison and let people who sodomize and rape women with cerebral palsy or who were criminally charged and have been forcibly deported multiple times stay in this country and beat the system to terrorize more people. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Now, I got to tell you this is interesting. Apparently, Joe Biden has raised very little of what he needs to build a presidential library. It's so weird. His library foundation has told the IRS that by the end of 2027, it expects to bring in just $11.3 million, which is not nearly enough for a traditional presidential library. Former President Joe Biden has raised only a small fraction of the money needed to construct a presidential library, leaving uncertainty about when a library might be built. Who the hell would go there? Who would go to the Joe Biden library? To the Joe Biden we cheat to get in library? The Joe Biden I have dementia and I'm off 40% of my time library? Joe Biden the auto pen library? Joe Biden the Biden crime family syndicate? We made $30 million. You people didn't. Library. Really? Joe Biden, my wife Jill and Hunter did the majority of the 4 cabinet meetings in my 4 years, right? Joe Biden, the guy nobody has ever accused of being the sharpest person in the room. Who the hell would want to give to that library, let alone go there? Well, that is a good question because the answer is nobody. $0 were given to the Joe Biden Presidential Library Fund in 2024. So there is granular detail on this story, and it is hilarious. What does it take to build a library? At least about $100 million. How much has been raised? Like none. They have $4 million. And you think to yourself, well, somebody gave him money. No. That was left over from his 2021 inauguration. So they took money that, thank God, Kamala couldn't blow with her failed 107 days, right? Make sure you get the book. I'm sure it's great. She couldn't spend it, $4 million. So they plunked that down and hope to have 11 by sometime in 2 years. Brock, for the most voted for president in United States history, right? Go ahead.
Maybe Hunter could sell some artwork. that should get you that.
Brock,
that diamond.
His home in the Palisades burned, buddy. That is so callous of you, ableist. Just kidding. So it's so bad they can't get any money. Literally zero.
I mean, how big does it have to be, though? It just has to house an auto pen?
Well, exactly. In fact, somebody was quoted as saying Joe Biden at this rate would be lucky to have a bookmobile.
He could have one of those little free libraries
right?
throughout the community.
They set it up in the elementary school. Hey, kids, book fair on Tuesday. Bring a 10, bring a 20, get your favorite stuff, right? We'll put it up there. There's Joe Biden's presidential life. And they want you to believe that Joe Biden beat President Trump.
Maybe Act Blue could raise some money for him.
I mean, think about it. Where's the money going to come from? Sam Bankman-Fried, he's in prison. Act Blue and the Smurfs, they've been called out. U.S. aid, they've already squandered everybody's money. Nobody's gotten any of it. Certainly not the people who need aid, right? That's been shut down. All the NGOs, they've been hit flat. Maduro, Venezuela, Tren de Aragua, the gangs, Cartel de los Sols, MS-13, they've been put on notice. Fentanyl now, that's going to be serious. A weapon of mass destruction. I'm not going to play with that. Well, leads to nobody wanting to give to Joe Biden's presidential library. Aw, please. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio program, here's a question for you, and it's not rhetorical. Who isn't ripping off America? Right? Let's talk about it next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So ridiculous. Zero. The seed money they have. They had a fundraiser yesterday. Anybody out there can find an article for me about this Joe Biden Presidential Library fundraiser. It happened yesterday.
At the Eagles game?
I want to know, they had to raise money, right? Where did it go? Where is it? Where's all the money? Who would ever give? And then I'm sure he showed up. And his stupid, feckless doctor, Kevin O'Connor, who pled the fifth, right? Because, people who are innocent do that all the time. He was like, no, he walks like a robot because he's got some arthritis in his lower spine. I'm like, or he's demented. Right? Stop it. You're not allowed to say that. Oh, I hate everybody. Okay. That's a great story. There's so much more nuance in that story we could go. Let me tell you about Lean. Take Lean. Lean, Brickhouse Nutrition's weight loss supplement, their dietary supplement. It is their top dog. That's what they do. And much like Dr. Gundry, I like this process because Brickhouse Nutrition, the doctors who work there, have determined that you can lose weight steadily, slowly, right? So it's not this drastic thing where all of a sudden you're like this big without that much skin, right? They're like, look, slow and steady. Slow and steady. Start drinking more water. Start getting in your steps. Start exercising, lifting some weights, eating lean protein, staying away from fats. You're golden. There is no reason without any medical intervention in most people's worlds that you couldn't start the process. People who need a little bit more help end up going to places like Darren Dubiak, Body by Aim 360. But Take Lean is one of these products that allows you to slowly and steadily and safely lose significant amounts of weight, 50, 60, 70, even 100 pounds. Bada bing. TakeLean.com. My name is going to give you 20% off, which I think is great. 20% off, and I swear by them. I love Brickhouse Nutrition. Give it a shot. There's your QR code. Wow. I look like a poodle. I look like Murphy today. Do you ever start looking at like your dog? Oh, Ryan took a picture. He's let's see. Here we go.
New York Times.
Let's see.
Should I know that password?
No. So Ryan took a picture of Murphy. Ryan wants to be an orthodontist, so he needs 100 hours of dental and orthodontia shadowing before you can even take the dental application test, admission test, whatever it's called, the DAT. And so he's got a break right now, and so he's trying to get in with these various dentists. So he was up and out early this morning, shortly after I left, and he took a picture of Murphy by the front door. Aw, is that such a sweet boy? He's so naughty. Jerk dog. Rock knew it was only a matter of time. I have a love-hate relationship with him.
Here.
Yeah. I'm like, I hate you. And then yes, I am allowed to have fragility issues when it comes to my dog. All right. So.
I'm trying to send you a text.
Is it going to hurt my feelings?
Yes.
Let's see how you guys are doing. Look at you, 3.12.
It's a New York Times.
His article, that article?
But I can't
I have it.
Oh.
Oh, I have it. In fact, there's a great part of there about Trump's presidential library fund.
Well, his is being funded by the
Yes.
media. Maybe Jake Tapper could give some of his revenue.
Isn't that amazing? Jake Tapper, who says he's actually got to be on Trump and his mental ability because he was so dropped the ball when it came to Joe Biden. Right. Jake's like, I was asleep at the wheel with Joe Biden. I didn't realize until I had to sell my book. What's it called? Triggered or whatever the hell?
No, that's Don Jr.
Yeah, I know. All right. How about some lipstick? Why not? It's what I do, people. So how's everybody? How's your day going out there? Good, good.
Original Sin.
Original Sin. Yeah, it was called stealing the election. If we're going to actually go back to original sin. Who isn't ripping off America? This story is going to take us to Maryland. Whatever happened with that barge that hit the bridge and collapsed the bridge and all that? Did they rebuild that?
I think we're paying for it.
Right. Positive, we're paying for it. All right, can we get up to 322 before we come back? We're up to 314, 80 people. If you hit that thumbs up button, that's the Rumble button. Appreciate it. Hello, Hoodoo. Hi, Nadine and Yon Wayne. What's up, Creekside Garage? Hi, Skiz. Good to be with you, babe. Hi, Vipers. Hi, the demo station. I love it. Hi, Masshole Patriot and Relic Arcane. Hi, Don Parcel. Joe Pruz. Mark's Doodle. Mark's Doodle just rumbled for Pretty Wendy.
No.
I love you back. Rosie Riveter 00 says, hey, Wendy Bell Radio family, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. You as well, sweetness. Hi, Darius. Hi, Patch. Oh, blessing. Hi, Freedom Sassy and US Abby Girl. Pod Racer. Hi, baby. Alexander Patroclus. Okay. Hi. Hi, Chameleon. Chameleon 4 babes.
Why can't people just have names like Bob S?
And Jammin' Saw. What's up, KJ? One Allie Marie. Hi, babe. Esky. Hi. Razorback, how you doing, babe? Mama Bear, I hear you. I hear you. Lace, hi. Hi, Oreo. Hey, Cindy. What's up, Esky? Did I already say hi to Esky?
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, you got it twice.
He now has to rumble twice.
Bell's Barbecue says Wendy rocks. Duh. It's nice. Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio program is live. Hey, if you've not yet gotten our podcast, Wendy Bell Radio, just plug that in literally wherever you get your podcasts. You're going to find us. You can download us. You can share us. You can give us a review. I read all of them, and I appreciate you more than you know. Thanks for being a part of my family. So in the last segment, if you missed it, hour number 2, we ended the show with that segment at least, talking about Joe Biden, the most voted for president in American history, having $0 donated to his presidential library fund in 2024. How is that even possible? I mean, it's so preposterous, right? It's like the extremes, the idiocy, the dumb stories that you're supposed to believe are so obnoxiously inconceivable. It's insulting, right? So you're going to tell us that Joe Biden got 80 million votes. Right. Okay. The dude who never campaigned, the dude who's never been accused of being smart, the guy who was accused of plagiarizing, the guy who is a drip who used his dead wife and daughter and his son's hospital room as a backdrop to launch his Senate campaign, okay? Or what have you. That guy, nobody's giving money to his library fund. It's so odd. Unless, of course, you know that it's all been farcical. So I thought I would just ask, and we've got another story to share with you, so I'll just do it quickly. I put into my favorite search engine, Perplexity. I typed in, how much money is the Trump Presidential Library Fund? How much is in there right now? And this is what I get. The Donald J. Trump Presidential Library Foundation expects to raise about $50 million in 2025. Of course, it's all of you giving money, right? Nope. Not taxpayer dollars. Largely from media settlements, $15 million from ABC, $16 million from CBS, $22 million from Meta, right? And of course, we've got him far exceeding the hauls by Obama. He got $5 million, or Bush got $2.8 million in their foundations in the first year. And Donald Trump's blowing him out of the water. And of course, with the BBC, he's suing them. And we'll talk about that at the bottom of this segment. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. They say by the end of this year, Trump will have secured $50 million, mostly via lawsuits. Next year, they expect to raise $300 million for the Trump Library. 2027, $600 million planned. Well, they're obviously going to be doing a lot more than building a library. Cannot wait, because that's already on the books. All right, so I want to talk to you guys about this. It's a stunning story that I stumbled upon last night. Brock, I think, sent me this one. Audit finds gaps in oversight of Maryland state spending. How much do you think in a year a government such as the state of Maryland would spend? There's all sorts of different departments, all sorts of different things one would need. I would have no earthly idea. I would probably lowball it, and I don't know. I'd probably estimate it to be a couple $1 billion. Like, I have no idea. Well, what if I told you that $8.5 billion is what the state of Maryland spent doing whatever it does last year with no financial watchdog or oversight? Like, how would you guys feel? You'd be like, that makes sense. I'm sure nothing was going on. Fraud is so unusual in these United States. It's just really, it just almost never happens, said nobody paying attention. Let's read the story. It's from thebaynet.com. A new legislative audit review, I hate when that happens, says more than 40 Maryland government entities operating outside of the state's standard procurement rules have uneven safeguards over how they spend billions of dollars each year, with some lacking basic written policies or clear requirements for competition and public disclosure. So when we're talking about procurement, you're going to what? Get money, spend money, make deals, and there's nobody with guide rails to have oversight. So if you have a contract and you need to do something, you choose the guy who's best for the job, who gives you the most competitive bid, who's got the best Yelp reviews. What is it? No. You just choose your Uncle Phil. Hey, Phil, come on over here. I got a great deal for you. You think you can manage this highway paving project? Well, I've never done it. Well, I've got $560 million. It says you can. Well, by all means, I can. That's an obnoxious example, but that is what has been going on. No bid contracts. Nobody paying attention. In a special review released by the Official Office of Legislative Audits, identified 42 state units that are either fully or partially exempt from Division 2 of the State Finance and Procurement Article, which governs how most agencies bid, award, and advertise contracts. 29 of those units are fully exempt from the law for all procurements, while 13 have exemptions for specific types of contracts or programs. How does this make sense to anybody? In fact, it doesn't, which is why Fox 45 News in Maryland decided to chew on this. Auditors say dozens of state agencies in Maryland spent $8.5 billion last year. Say what? and nobody was paying attention to where the money was going? How is that possible? Listen.
As the state struggles to close a billion-dollar budget deficit, there are now questions about billions in state spending. The questions come in a state legislative audit that uncovers dozens of state offices, which spent a total of $8.5 billion last year with little or no oversight.
This is a problem where you have almost $9 billion going to these entities that we just don't know where the money is going.
The audit identifies 42 different offices in state government, which the state has exempted or partially exempted from complying with state procurement laws. But the law does require these offices to adopt their own policies governing how they bid and award state contracts. And while most of the 42 have adopted procurement policies, auditors found the state's Lottery and Gaming Control Agency, the Maryland Corps Program, the Maryland State Archives, and the Maryland Energy Administration had no procurement policies on paper, raising plenty of questions about how its state dollars are being spent.
This is supposed to be a system of checks and balances. We know that checks have gone out, but there are no balances to make sure that the money is being spent wisely.
Among the offices which have adopted their own procurement policies, auditors found they were often far weaker than normal state policies. Some of them did not require written solicitations for all competitive procurements over $50,000. Others did not require the unit to negotiate purchase prices. At one office, only procurements exceeding $500,000 required board approval. And at other offices, they did not require evaluation of procurements for minority participation goals.
If you're receiving taxpayer money, there has to be full accountability. And again, this is billions of dollars we're talking about.
Taxpayer advocate David Williams calls the findings alarming and is demanding far greater oversight.
There needs to be a way that every agency is accounting for the money that they are spending.
I think the reaction to some of this astonishing expenditure stuff is so watered down. It's so Melba-toast. We really need to do a better job of tracking our spending and making sure it's going where it says it's going. That's not enough, right? No. We're going to publicly stone anybody who's been ripping off the system. $8.5 billion. In a state with 6.26 million people, state divisions there, they spent $8.5 billion last year on all sorts of different contracts. To do what? I'm not really sure, but you know what that works out to be? Guys, $8.5 billion in a single year is $708 million a month. With 260 weekdays, right? Let's just presume that your folks in the General Assembly there in Maryland are working during the week and they're not working on the weekends. Come on, it's a cushy government job. Who works on the weekends, for heaven's sakes? Who works anymore, right? 260 weekdays in 2024. Do you know how much money $8.5 billion is that these people spent? $32,700,000 a day. Do you mean to tell me that all of that was on the up and up? Well, we don't know. It's not required by law that we prove to anybody what we're doing. What? Is anybody not ripping us off? And who knows? Maybe everything is fantastic, but based on what we know, if people from Africa, right, who don't have computers, who don't have food, can swindle us out of $8 billion, what are the folks in Baltimore and other cities in Maryland doing? Asking for a friend. Don't know. We really should look into that a little bit more seriously. Okay. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know, Journalism 101, you learn on day one in J school. I've been there, done that. You're not supposed to lie about what people say. That's what the BBC did. Yeah, and so Trump is suing them for $10 billion. Next. Now, I heard 10 billion, I heard 5 billion. John Solomon and Justin Nude says 5 billion. Other people say 10 billion. After 5 billion, does it really matter? I don't know. He should. He should sue them for everything they have because they made one grave mistake. They could have come out, the BBC could have come out And they could have said a million different things. But instead, they doubled down the way liberals do. They double down. I don't think he's got much of a lawsuit here. Trump was like, really? Okay. Game on. Let's go. Brock, how are you?
Good.
Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. I wouldn't call anybody else. If I didn't have this show, knowing what I know about the Irelands, and they weren't sponsors of mine, there was nothing in our relationship, business-wise. Every single day of the week and twice on Sunday, I would call Ireland Contracting with a home exterior remodeling issue. 100%. I'm not putting gutter helmet on. I'm calling the Irelands. You guys have a process? You do new gutters and downspouts? Can we protect those? Let's do that. New roofing. Hey, Gary, can you hop up on my roof and tell me how long I have before I need to replace my roof? And then maybe do me a solid and tell me what it's going to cost so I can start budgeting for that. Ireland Contracting. Telling you, new windows, soffit fascia gutters, downspouts, skylights, sun tunnels, all of it. IrelandContracting.com. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I love them. Me love them. Let's see. I have been really good about my reads today. Oh, I hear pew, pew, pew. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. This is where you go to get your Hunt Chef spices. 12 of them. Normally were $10 a bottle. Not now. They're giving you all 12 spices for $100.
It's just for the rest of this week.
That's it. We've got 3 more days after this. Hunt Chef spices, Sniper, Knockout, Harmony, Deadweed Brew, the deer, stop eating my hosta spray. Like literally everything that is on there is something I personally have and use, including these. I have all 12 at my house. They are phenomenal. And you know what? You could use them not if you're just making a roast or you're making a steak. Today we're making little slider burgers for dinner, and there's a couple great spices to put on them. And it's not like everything's uber salty. It's just flavorful. It's delicious. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. While you're there, you've got to get Sniper. Changes your life. Changes your life. Spray, kill germs, bacteria, viruses, fungal infections, all of it.
Smells.
Doesn't smell chemically. You don't even have to wipe it off. What? Telling you. It's the real deal. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Oh. God, that guy just absolutely stuns me. I have the greatest sponsors. We have room for another.
And the greatest coworker.
We Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So President Trump is funding his presidential library foundation, if you will, with these lawsuits that he's going after the fake news for lying about him, selectively editing other people to make them look better than they do, Kamala, et cetera, et cetera. It is the cardinal sin of journalism. You don't make it up. You don't selectively take somebody's words and move them out of context, cut and paste. It's beyond disingenuous. It's deceitful. It's fake news. So we could take somebody's voice, and now with AI more than ever, if we are not serious about holding the media accountable for what they put out there on their airwaves or in their papers, if you are not held accountable for knowingly lying because you're deranged and you will stop at nothing to smear one guy, can you imagine? He owns so many people's sanity. It's crazy. So President Trump now is suing the BBC. As well, he should. I'm going to read you the story. This from the Epic Times. Trump sues BBC for $10 billion over misleading January 6 edits. That it happened is disgusting enough. But if you get out of this story and you go up to 30,000 feet, you see the pictures starting to emerge on the coffee table, right? All the puzzle pieces. You don't have to hide a president who is robust and voted for and chosen. Unless he's not. You don't have to pretend you're raising money for a presidential library when you're not, right? You don't have to lie and say it's an emergency and this is the only medication possible under the sun. And it's going to save your life and you have to take it now if it actually is that. You don't have to force it. And if things are actually true, you don't have to lie to create the illusion of that to your public. This isn't complicated. It's just not. Trump sues BBC for $10 billion over misleading January 6 edits. This is the crux of the entire January 6 argument, right? Donald Trump incited an insurrection. He told everybody to go and to fight. Oh, that's actually when he almost got killed. He said, now go, pace peacefully and patriotically. Let your voices be known. Let your ire be heard. Tell the people, hardworking people of Congress, that you want them to hear you. And I will be with you. I'm fighting alongside of you. They told us we won this or lost this fight, 2020. But we haven't lost the war. I'm not giving up hope, said the president. That's not the story you got on the BBC. Wasn't the story you got on 60 Minutes. Wasn't the story you got on ABC, NBC, or CBS. Desperate for you to believe all Trump wanted was a riot. In what world? And if you're still believing that, you're an idiot. I don't know how we meet in the middle with idiots. I don't know. President Donald Trump Monday evening filed a lawsuit against the British Broadcasting Corporation seeking $10 billion in restitution for alleged defamation. It's not alleged, it happened. 33-page legal filing accuses the BBC of making false, defamatory, deceptive, disparaging, inflammatory, and malicious depiction of President Trump that was fabricated and aired by the defendants 1 week before the 2024 presidential election in a brazen attempt to interfere in and influence the election's outcome to President Trump's detriment. Pretty succinctly stated. The BBC aired an episode titled Trump, A Second Chance, ? 1 week before the 2024. The suit claims that in its episode produced by Panorama, the BBC intentionally and maliciously sought to fully mislead its viewers by splicing together clips of the remarks. See, the BBC can be sued for $10 billion. Well, where are we suing Nancy Pelosi or Adam Schiff or Chuck Schumer or Mitch McConnell? Where are we suing Eric Swalwell? Where are we suing all of the idiots there? Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, all of those fools who knew there was one person who was going to pull the plug on the swamp. Don't let him get that plug. We're going to wiretap him. We're going to eavesdrop, sir. We didn't find any answers. No, we didn't hear anything that was bad. All right, quick, make something up. Christopher Steele, Russia. Steele dossier, right? Comer, Clappy, all these idiots spreading information to the New York Times, to Nicole Wallace's stupid husband, who won a freaking Pulitzer for pushing that big lie. But for some reason, Joe Biden doesn't have any money going to his presidential library fund. It's so peculiar. How do you connect those dots? Oh, that's right. You don't. Which is why you need a smoke screen. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it seems House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, Tom, has a bit of a Somalia problem. Say what? and he doesn't want you to know about it, which is why a page on his website is now missing. I got the deets next. Oh, just have to stretch for a second. That was in my bag. I didn't see it for you.
Stealing.
Let me see. It was from here. So, by the way, Morgane's Fitness, Kelly Morgan and Morgane's Fitness, her 90 Ignite program is available online all across the United States. You have no reason not to at least investigate it. MORGAINZ fitness.com. That's how this dude lost that much. Look at that. Look at his belly. That's how this gal lost her back boobs. Look at that. I can't even get him on the front of me. She's got him on the back. Right? And then there's this cutie patootie who I love her. Look at her. Look at that. Freaking abs. 90 Ignite. 90 days. She'll give you your body back. So let's see. What did we get? Morgan's. Oh, Brock's book. You got a book too. So let's see. And by the way, oh, how cute.
Oh, wait. I got to show you this.
Oh, my God.
It says, this makes a great camera shot for when you get fired and demoted. I'm getting both fired and demoted
Wow.
for $3.75 an hour.
Yes. What is it? Wow. Nice. That's not very friendly.
Bell Witch.
Is this from Amy? From Madison, Tennessee.
I don't know who sent it, so thank you.
Amy from Madison, Tennessee. Look at this. Is she the sweetest?
Is that a scarf?
No, they're kitchen towels.
Oh.
One's for you, but I'm not giving you one.
I'm going to have to talk to Chris and Bobby. They can't go to Tennessee.
I got a book.
A book?
Okay, apparently, she's really into it.
Well, it's.
I believe this is true. Sounds crazy, but when you have a shape-shifting, location-changing, appearing and disappearing, people-abusing witch. Wow, she's apparently associating me with the witch, the Bell Witch.
What?
Well, I don't know about that. That's not very friendly.
That might be my new favorite shirt.
Oh, and then she sends me pocket dumpster fire earrings. No, they're not earrings, but they're like little, let me see what they are. You guys are wild. And Amy, that was so thoughtful. Thank you. Brock's book. I'm going to open it for you, okay? Does it say how I should love thee? No? Brock's book.
It's like how she opened it.
Wow. She sends you, let's find out about the United Nations with a little sign that goes down to here. She says it's only got 99 words in it, so it's probably good for you.
Wow. Even people taking shots at me.
You know what? It's just sort of
Does
mean.
it have pictures?
It's sort of big pictures. Scratch and sniff.
Some of us here read more than others.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
You're saying what?
Some of us read more books than others.
Do you?
In these studios.
All right. I'm going to do this real fast, guys. Let's see if I can pull it out. I'm hot.
It's bad when people start taking shots at you that you've never met.
Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh.
I don't know why people like making fun of me. That's a mess.
Hold on.
Look at that.
Oh, that's a good look. Isn't that good? Hold on. Hold on. Try it again. Oh, shoot. I only have a minute and a half. Okay.
That camera's going to go nuts.
I can't hear you, so if you're being rude, suck it. Okay.
I said that camera's going to go nuts.
What'd you say?
I said the camera's going to go nuts.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
All right. So for all the people that email me mad about the first rendition of the Second Amendment commemorative gift, the AR magazine, where are you this time? We still have 97 left.
Oh. Okay.
We got to sell through those so we can put the mugs up.
Wow. It seems kind of like a high pressure tactic here. I don't normally go high pressure. I usually just browbeat. I have a different strategy.
Oh. I have. Tact is not my
No.
forte.
Would surprise me. I don't believe anymore. It's very odd, I think, after the last several years that you and I have all survived together. We've learned some stuff. We've learned there are people we can trust. We've learned there's people we really need to doubt. Right? And so when I saw this yesterday, I said to Brock, oh my gosh, we need to dig into this. And it was a post on X, one account I've read before, Publius. And this is what it said. And I was like, well, is this real or is this not? There's a lot of stuff out there. And I think with artificial intelligence now more than ever, and it's just really getting going, we have to be very discerning about the information that we believe in or what have you. We got to do some research. You can't just rip and read anymore because there are a lot of shades of gray and there's a lot of people manipulating us. So when I saw this, I was like, no, I can see it. I think Tom Emmer, the House Majority Whip guy from, I think he's the 6th Congressional District of Minnesota. I think I've never trusted him. That doesn't mean he's not trustworthy, okay? But I could see how this would be true. This is what it said. Rhino exposed. Tom Emmer co-funded the Congressional Somalia Caucus in 2015 with radical leftist Keith Ellison to push U.S. aid and ties to Somalia. He proudly posted the announcement on his website, but scrubbed it recently amid backlash. Tom Emmer is the House Majority Whip. He's the 3rd highest ranking position in House Republican leadership. And then this person behind this account, in all caps, says, do you still think we can vote our way out of this? No. And I think term limits are probably the only way. So I was like, Brock, we've got to look into this. And so he did, and I did. And quite frankly, Alpha News, where Liz Collin, where we've heard her reporting from Minneapolis, this is the outfit where she works now. Alpha News, to their credit, 10 years ago, was telling us this, and I want to bring it up. Ellison and Emmer team up on America to Somalia money transfers. America to Somalia money transfers. Why are so many people in our government eager to give our money away to foreign governments? Do you think there's somebody in your community who could use it? I have panhandlers all over my section of the city of Pittsburgh. I bet a few people in my community could benefit from us not giving millions and millions of dollars away to other governments. I believe that there are people all over this country, in your neighborhood, maybe even in your own household, who could benefit from a break ever once. When everybody else and his brother seems to take priority and preference over you. Ellison and Emmer team up on America to Somalia money transfers. Okay, let's see what this is. This is dated 2017, in fact. So it was 8 years after it happened. Or no, this is right after. These two Minnesota lawmakers. Keith Ellison at the time was in the House. He was not AG. These two guys get together and like, you know what? Let's create this deal. Why Somalia? Why did they choose Somalia? Why are we going to do something for this nation thousands of miles away from us? Culturally has nothing in common with us. We can all agree they do have problems, and your bleeding heart inside of you is like, I wish we had endless money to help everybody so nobody was starving and nobody was cold and nobody was ruthlessly murdered, and I wish we could solve everybody's problems. But why is it never our problem? So this is a story from Alpha News. Emerson and Emmer. All right? Ellison and Emmer. Representative Keith Ellison and Representative Tom Emmer are teaming up to bring back Somali American remittances with a new pilot program. So I guess there was once an opportunity before 2017 where we were expediting Somalians working here, being able to send money from America back to Somalia. And then apparently it went away. And so these two guys teamed up and they're like, let's bring that back. Why? Scott Paul, a senior humanitarian policy advisor for Oxfam, recently tweeted his thanks to Ellison and Emmer for working on the project. Oxfam is a development organization that focuses on the injustices of poverty. Do you guys believe any do-goodery out there is actually going where it's supposed to go? Do you really think that anybody who's impoverished or hungry through Oxfam is getting money? I have very grave concerns about that. No. Remittances or money transfers allow Somali Americans to funnel money earned here in the U.S. back to their family in their home country. Remittances are considered by many to be the lifeblood of Somalia, with the World Bank estimated up to $1.4 billion being transferred annually. This is from 2017. Why are two Minnesota congressmen, 8 years before we find out about the rampant Somalian fraud through the Feeding Our Futures scam, why are two Minnesota lawmakers making it easier for Somalians to send money back home? And then when you put that together with what Liz Collin and the TSA agent we heard from yesterday, blowing the whistle on seeing Somalian men, always traveling in pairs, going through Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, pulling their rollerboard suitcases with them, or maybe trying to put it through whatever to check it to their destination, getting flagged by TSA, and agents opening up the suitcases and finding millions of dollars inside. Was that not weird for anybody? See, the TSA agents let them go. And in fact, that whistleblower also said there were other suitcases that had passports and such in them, and they were allowed to pass through security. If I am wearing overalls and I try to get through airport security, it's like every alarm in the world. I get frisked. I get the metal wand. I've got to stand up there and have the thing that zooms around my body, right? I get the stink eye. Somebody puts on a rubber glove. I'm like, I swear to God, it's just little snaps from my overalls. I'm not doing anything. But Somalian dudes with luggage full of millions of dollars in passports. Get a wink and a nod and a, okay, nothing to see here. Anybody else connecting dots? Why would Tom Emmer then go and scrub this announcement that he was very proud of? Why would that happen? Alpha News was on it 2 years after it happened. This was in 2015 when Emmer and Ellison teamed up together. Tom Emmer took the oath in January of 2015. So 6 months after he's sworn in as a congressman, he's making bipartisan coalitions with Keith Ellison, a Democrat, for Somalians. Really? Does that sound weird to you guys? Sounds weird to me. The third highest ranking guy on the Republican side in the House of Representatives. Really? I have a problem with that. That doesn't make sense to me. Period. So if Emmer co-founded what was called the Congressional Somalia Caucus in 2015, what in God's green earth would encourage him to do that? Unless the Somalians said, hey, Mr. Emmer, we know you want to be congressman. We can help you. But you got to help us. How many times have we heard in the last 2 weeks all of this nonsense was going on underneath Tim Walz's nose? It's not just Tim Walz's nose. It's Tom Emmer's nose. It's Keith Ellison's nose. And they let it happen. If it weren't for the astonishing degree that prosecutors would find with 86 criminal freaking defendants, 92% of them all being what again? Somalian. Doing what again? Ripping off the Minnesotans of $250 million in COVID welfare funds. Huh. How long has this been going on? Long time, my friends. Donald Trump wants to cut the head off the snake of all of these operations, whether it be drugs, Somalians grifting off of the goodness of stupid people in Congress, right? Cartels, human trafficking, NGOs, USAID, Act Blue, Klaus Schwab, right? This is why Knives Out every day, stop at nothing to destroy him. Make up news, no problem. Create a dossier, absolutely. Russia involved the highest echelons, including a sitting president, not a problem. A hopeful presidential candidate in Hillary Clinton, knowing all about it, funding the research to derail Donald Trump's presidency. Yes. Of course. How much did everybody know? And for how long? Term limits. It's the only solution, ladies and gentlemen. I read something today on LinkedIn that President Trump had put out something on term limits. I haven't seen that. Brock, have you seen that? I'm salivating for that. One of those stories that you read and you're like, yes, please. I couldn't confirm it. Is that the only answer? Yes. Tom Emmer, why did you scrub your page? Your congressional website. Why would you take that? You were so proud of this Somalia Congressional Caucus. Inquiring minds want to know. When we come back, a little Rush Limbaugh for you. The 45-second soundbite that today tells you everything you need to know. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So who else is connected? Who hasn't gotten rich?
Me?
Right? I didn't get a penny during COVID. I didn't even get a penny in unemployment compensation when I got wrongly fired. Right? It's interesting. Who gets, who doesn't? I just thought that was because I asked Brock last night. I'm like, you've got to, was it last night or this morning?
About?
It was last night, looking into Emmer.
Yeah.
He's got some kind of tepid Liberty score.
He's a D.
Look, all these people are different iterations of the same beast. Which is why if you're ever in a court case and your lawyer knows the opposing lawyer and they are friends, you've got to be like, really? Everybody, it's a good old boys club, right? Kind of how it is. That's how it feels.
Caroline Levitt, another Maha victory for Trump. 18 states banned junk food from SNAP.
100%. Mm-hmm. Which are the ones that haven't? Do you imagine?
If I can't afford the junk food,
I'm going to say it's going to be the 21 states. There's going to be 21 states that won't, and they will all be Democrat, and they won't be revealing their SNAP data to the federal government. Good. Shut off the benefits. See how long people like that.
Speaker Johnson reveals House Republicans will surge starting in January to codify up to 150 of President Trump's executive orders. Why wait? What's taking so long?
I want to know what John Thune is up to.
No good.
I don't trust that dude as far as I could throw him at all. I think Tom Emmer, Steve Scalise. No thanks.
What have they done to give you reason to think they're going to get stuff done?
I agree.
That's the rub, Like,
I agree.
You can say, Speaker Johnson seems like a nice guy. He does seem like a nice guy. Maybe too nice, I don't know. But, like, what have you done to really ingratiate yourself to the base that wants these things to happen and they want it to happen now? I mean, arrest, okay, we all want that, and understandably it can't happen. But getting rid of the filibuster and passing this crap, there is stuff you can do. There are things you can do, and you people are choosing not to do it. John Thune, I think his Liberty scores a D or an F too.
And this soundbite from Rush is about liberalism. And liberalism, Democrat equals liberal to me. Maybe that's wrong, but that's kind of how I see it. Is there really a distinction? Are there shades of the left? I don't know.
This just came up on Twitter. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer calls out Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's handling of the $1 billion fraud scandal. Hey, sit down.
I'm not so sure you want to be yapping right now, dude. Right? Why 5 months into your term as congressman did you create some bipartisan deal with Ellison for Somalia?
Wow.
Unless you were getting money.
Trump said he is strongly considering signing an executive order to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. Not really okay, but not really things we need done right now.
Welcome back, my friends. We're going to end with a little Rush Limbaugh in just a minute, and it's a very apropos statement for where we are right now. I want to read you this, though, from the Washington Examiner, and it's really applicable to where we are with justice, and it's titled How Democrats Jacked Up the Justice System. And it's perfect. It's the greatest blueprint about how we got here and why nothing seems to be getting done. For 4 years under President Joe Biden, America has witnessed the Department of Justice's fall from a respected pillar of our democracy to the political enforcement arm of the Democratic Party. True. What was once an institution built on blind justice and equal treatment was weaponized to take out political opponents. Nothing made that clearer than the persecution of Donald Trump by Biden's special counsel, Jack Smith. Smith's political crusade against Trump has done more to shatter Americans' trust in our justice system than any scandal in the past few decades. The nation stood in disbelief as Smith tossed aside centuries-old fundamental principles of justice to pursue a former president with unprecedented aggression. The Biden-Harris administration looked the other way as its special counsel bent the law to implicate the leading Republican presidential candidate and its biggest rival. Smith was not a special counsel. He was the DNC's political hitman. As special counsel, Smith oversaw 2 major federal prosecutions of Trump. Yes, the classified documents case and the 2020 election case. In both instances, Smith bent the law at his whim to conjure up a case against Trump. And the timing was no coincidence. As the 2024 campaign took shape and Biden faced historic disapproval, Democrats saw the writing on the wall. Trump would defeat any candidate the DNC put up. Their only solution? Weaponize the DOJ in a desperate attempt to cripple their strongest opponent. Smith looked to deliver exactly what they wanted: politically timed indictments, unprecedented charges, and a media circus carefully engineered to smear, distract, and financially bleed Trump before voters could cast their ballots. Smith attempted to implicate Trump by grasping at stretched-out charges of obstructing an official proceeding and Reconstruction-era laws of conspiring to deprive voters of their civil rights, which had never been used to charge a president for disputes over election procedures or legal challenges. Smith even used Trump's legal challenges and constitutional objections to charge him with criminal conspiracy, and attempted to charge Trump with mishandling documents under the Espionage Act, despite nearly 50 years of precedent that had treated presidential records exclusively under the Presidential Records Act. To top it all off, Smith mishandled the documents he accused Trump of mishandling. He changed the order of the documents he seized from Trump, leading to a discrepancy between the physical and scanned documents that were used as evidence. His misconduct was not limited to Trump. He secretly conducted surveillance on Republican members of Congress, including Representative Jim Jordan as part of Operation Arctic Frost, a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. Meanwhile, Democrats were given the white glove treatment for their corruption investigations. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's illegal server, Biden's classified document scandal, Hunter Biden's laptop, and evidence of the Biden family's corruption were quietly brushed aside with no indictments and no accountability. And the message to the public was unmistakable. There is a 2-tiered justice system, one serving the Democrats and another for everyone else. Those who oppose the regime will be relentlessly pursued by rogue prosecutors. 100%. That is what they have given us. Justice in tatters. And it's always wrapped around some overarching feel-good something or other. Some mission, some person who's going to be saved, some bleeding heart liberal objective that always means you're getting screwed and the alleged victim gets no help. Which is why it's no surprise when Rush Limbaugh was asked decades ago about why he hated liberalism. He had a very succinct answer.
Representatives.
What is the problem you have with liberals?
Well,
Why do
they're
you
wrong.
dislike
They
them so
are
much?
dangerous. Liberals, I believe, have destroyed or in the process of destroying the culture of this country. If you look at what liberal prescriptions for welfare, they have only expanded the number of people that are on welfare rolls. Liberalism destroys individual lives. Liberalism creates dependency on purpose. Liberalism operates in the guise of wanting to help people, but it actually condemns them to dependency.
I want to go back to the issue.
It is the opposite of compassion. And they own this compassion. They think they've got a monopoly on it, and there's nothing compassionate about liberalism. It hurts people. It harms them. And they don't even know it.
Why?
100%. And for millions of Americans, Jack Smith's conduct confirmed what we already feared. Our justice system is being compromised by political operatives. Right? House Oversight is now working to reveal the truth, hold bad actors accountable, and restore the justice system's principles of transparency, integrity, and fairness. It doesn't happen overnight. It just sucks always having to be the ones who must be patient. Don't ever end up losing hope, friends. Ever. Thanks for being a part of the Wendy Bell radio program. Delighted to be with you. I hope you come back tomorrow, okay? Bundle up. We'll be here 21 hours. Have a great day. Peace.